Bigg Mike knows best. I am the nose. Bigg Mike will be joining us shortly. We're going over player props for tonight for the NBA. Now, we have a way of thinking. We have a couple guys that we like, and we're going to show you the best numbers to take them at. Now, as soon as Mike gets in here, we'll get cracking. Let's see. Rather shortly. Yeah, here we go. How you doing, Mike?
What's up, Ted? How you doing?
Good. I mean, I'm getting excited for tonight, man. There's a lot of big prospects tonight to actually make some money with, and I figured I would let you start out by telling us the games tonight that we're taking before we start getting into the combined things with tomorrow. So,
All right. Well,
what tonight?
we got some theories on tonight. It's tonight and tomorrow. There's three games that are must-win game twos in series that we think are going to go long. And that is the Clippers against Dallas, the Lakers against the Suns, and the Knicks against the Hawks. And who better to take than their top players? So, to me, the best guys to take are Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers, Anthony Davis, even though he does make me nervous with the way he played last, and Julius Randle. We like them all to score 30. And just to give you an idea, a $100 bet on all three to score 30 pays about $2,000.
Yes.
So, we have some money on that. I think that they're all primed for bounce back games and must win games for their team.
Yeah, so do I. I like them each in duos as well. Take them each at 32.5 and mix and matching. So AD and Julius, AD and Kawhi and Julius, and so on, Julius and AD. You know what I mean? Take them all at 32.5 and parlay that for another 100. I like that as well. It pays
well,
good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing. We're combining them. It's almost like a horse race. We're betting the top three horses that we feel on the card.
Yeah.
We also have a little bit of money on Luka Doncic as well. It's not that I don't think Luka's going to score, because I think he is, but you got to think in a must-win game, it's prime for the Clippers to win. I think they're going to try to bottle him up a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think they're just going to let this guy run free, throughout the whole series.
Exactly.
If game, look, Dallas already stole one in LA. So not that they're not going to play hard, of course they are, but is this guy going to go for 40 tonight? No, I think Luka's real game to pop off would be game 3. After the series is tied up at 1, going to Dallas, that's where I really look for him, to score even more so, than tonight. I feel like tonight is a Clipper game. They're going to get, back on the right track. I feel like Kawhi Leonard's going to have a big game. I'm very confident on that.
Yeah.
I think with Anthony Davis, he got embarrassed by DeAndre Ayton last game. And, you can't think that he's going to come out and play like that. No way.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think he's going to come out with something to prove tonight. He was insulted and actually was quoted blaming the loss on himself. So I don't expect him to come out looking all foggy-eyed. I expect him to come out looking determined. And I think he's the least of our worries tonight, to be honest. I
disagree with you there. He played like a wet towel the other night. I'm a little nervous about the guy. I don't think he's no lock for nothing, okay?
Well, no, nobody's a lock. There's nothing that's a lock, but I like the spot.
It's a good spot for him, yes, and that's why we got our money on it. But he always worries me, like the way he's been playing. Like I said, hopefully, he didn't smoke, a blunt before the game and eat a Denny's Grand Slam breakfast again. The big game's at night, so, he could have got that out of the way in the early afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, a weird time game, too. You're right about that. Now he's playing more on his, on his body clock schedule, as you could say. I like Julius Randle as well. Julius is poised for a bounce back game. He had too good of a year to go out with a whimper. I mean, he took the shots to get 30.
He took 20 shots. He went 6 for 20 or right around there. He's not going to have that kind of game again. I'm very confident in Julius Randle. I'm also confident. Look, the Knicks should have won the game, even as bad as he played. They could have. Well, not should have. They could have easily won the game. I think the Knicks bounce back with a big-time effort. They're not going to let Trae Young – I heard a stat today. He was 9 for 14 in the lane. There's no way they're going to allow him to shoot in the lane like that.
No way.
And if they do, they're going to lose.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Listen, if they just let him come in the lane willy-nilly and dominate them, I mean, how's Thibs going to do that? He's not. He's not.
Right.
They have to do something. I was saying in the previous video to force him left. We'll see what they do to combat it, but they got, they got to get into him a little bit. Like you said, get him in the chest, I mean, come on.
Yeah, the reason why we're targeting those games is because they're like must-win games. Like we personally are staying away from the Nets and the Celtics just because the Nets are just going to kick their ass.
Yeah,
Okay,
listen,
and
the
and they
worst thing you
blow
can
them
have
out.
for a player prop is a blowout.
We're
The
gonna blow them
worst
out.
thing.
Look, the Nets have the Celtics. It's a terrible matchup for Boston. They got no size. They don't do anything that the Nets lack. They can't
No.
stop anyone on the Nets. The
Yeah.
Nets are just way better. That's going to be a sweep. I could almost guarantee.
100%.
I've been saying that when the matchups came. That's why I was kind of hoping they would play the Wizards. I think that would have been a better series. We could have bet Westbrook because, Durant and Harden can't really cover him. But Kemba Walker is not really, doing it right now. And they're just double teams at Tatum. So I'm not taking that. I just saw Joe Harris had like 16 points in the first quarter. You can't – it's not a series to bet really, even though, I think the Nets are going to just put up 130 and just kick them.
You just mentioned Harris, man. A fringe guy that went off last night, Bryn Forbes. How about that for a name right there? Bryn Forbes went off for 7 for 9 for 3.
For what team?
Milwaukee.
Wow.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that was going off in the first half.
That's what happens when you beat Miami by 30, Bryn Forbes.
That's another game that might be a sweep. Miami might get one because they have some pride, but that's going to be a 4 or 5 game series.
Another one I won't really bet. I don't really like the numbers. I feel like the series is to bet right now are the 2 LA teams and the Knicks Hawks. So that's where we're going to be focused.
I also like the Nuggets Blazers. I think there's some money to be made.
Yeah,
there.
I do too. The only problem with that is you got to take Jokic and Lillard for such a high number. It doesn't really pay. With the Knicks and the Hawks, for instance, you got regular numbers for Trae Young and Randall are about 24.5, 25.5. So you take them at 32, you're getting them at like plus 400. Those are the kind of payouts that pay. Like if you had like a big bet and you just wanted to bet like, Jokic for 30 for like $500-600. I'm not telling you not to do that, but to try to hit the small money parlays that we're doing is going to be,
we're betting on the Stars' value.
We're looking for better numbers, and the numbers right now for Portland and and the Denver they have no value. They really don't. They're way too high.
Yeah, but sometimes what's going to happen is just what's going to happen. But I know what you're saying. It's not a good bet. It really isn't.
I'm interested to see tomorrow how Donovan Mitchell looks. He's coming back against Memphis. They're down 1-0 in the series. I thought Utah would probably win that game, but Memphis is hot right now. They're coming off of 2 real good games. They beat the Spurs in a real tight game. Even though they were up big, Spurs back, Memphis held them off. And then they really beat Golden State,
with Ja Morant facing Curry eye to eye. I mean, that was awesome.
Well, if Ja Morant's aggressive, I like, but like Dylan Brooks played great again. Dylan Brooks runs around out there. He thinks he's Michael Jordan. There's a lot of guys like that think they're the best player in the world.
Hey, look,
not, but he could certainly score. He's a guy to look at in that game.
Look, if you play basketball, you got to be that way, though.
Listen, that's another one where Utah is going to take it to him in game 2. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't think Memphis is going to have a good game. It's another game I'd stay away from. I want to see how Mitchell looks, but I'll be looking to bet Mitchell in games 3 and 4. I want to just see how he's not going to come back and play 45 minutes tomorrow, and I don't think the game's going to be that close, really.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you that game has blowout, bounce back written all over it. And if it is, he's not going to play the minutes down the stretch, and he might not anyway. So it's not.
He will as the series goes along. I'm pretty confident in that. But like when you're betting these 7-game series, you got to look at how the series is going. Game 1 is tough, but like after game 1 is when we can really kind of pinpoint what game we think that the guys are going to go off in.
Yes.
So. Hopefully all these other series get tied 1-1. Then game 3 is a pivotal game. Those games are going to probably be like the closest, 3 and 4. So those are going to be games where, we're going to be looking to bet the Stars to score because when the games are tight, they score a lot. The over-unders are still very high, and that's where we're going to be looking to hit.
Yes. I couldn't have said it. I could not have said it better. Now, Is there anything else that we were looking at today? I mean, I'm pretty sure we did one small one of Trey, Luca, and AD. I mean, that was one combination that we put together.
Yeah, just in case Dallas keeps it close. And again, we didn't go too crazy. 32.5 points, nothing like insane. I mean, listen, look, Luka could go off and get 40, but I'm just not really feeling that myself. Not tonight. I think as the series goes on, there will be a game where this guy scores like mid-40s. Like
oh yeah, he's gonna get a 40-point triple-double. I mean, you know it. Maybe even a game winner. You know,
we just got to look for it and be on the game when that happens. And we're gonna try to go live before the games when we see stuff like this.
Yes.
Tonight I feel like is a really good spot for our three guys. They're the three best players on their teams in must-win games. Not that he's better than LeBron, but they're gonna pump him the ball. They're gonna look for him to score because of how bad he played. Because if he's not going, the Lakers have no chance. So I would think that's gonna be probably like their main goal tonight is to get him going and get him back, into the mix.
Yes, 100%, definitely. Hey, listen, Mike, we can only hope our money works for us well tonight. Let's go, man. Let's get it.
Yes, and listen, I'm telling you though, like with Anthony Davis, if he plays bad tonight, I mean, I can't bet him again. Like, even though I do think he probably bounces back tonight, but I just don't think that they can, like, if he plays bad again, they're finished. Like, they're not winning without him playing as the A1 to LeBron. Like, he can't be decent. He's got to be great. Listen, the Lakers are not really that good. They just have two great players. So if they're not playing up to their full capability, and the Suns are hungry, and Devin Booker's got a killer's mentality, and if they play him the minutes that they should, he can score on them because their guard defense is really not that good. Their stopper is Alex Caruso. Okay, like
I know.
Mamba's got a lot of heart, but he's not stopping Devin Booker. No chance.
No chance at all. I couldn't agree with that more. Devin Booker all season, the reason why we kind of stopped doing him is because they weren't giving him the minutes and his rotation was horrible. But in the playoffs, a lot of that goes out the window, and sometimes guys get extended a little bit more, and especially in a series like this, they need him. They need him to score 30 to 35 to 40 every game in this series.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the thing to look for in the Suns game is how they're going to play Booker, because in the regular season, this was his rotation, basically. He would play the entire first quarter. Then they wouldn't bring him back till at least midway through the second quarter, sometimes with 5 minutes left if there was no fouls or anything. So this guy would basically get in his rhythm, and if he didn't score like 12, 14 points in the first quarter, you were not hitting 30 points because he was not in any rhythm. And then, you play 3-4 minutes, come back in the second half, plays the whole third quarter, and then they were sitting him for like half the fourth quarter, which is like infuriating when you get on the guy.
Listen, when you need him to get 35 and he's got 28 going into the fourth, and they don't bring him back until about 4 or 5 minutes left, it's tough to stomach. And especially when it happened time and time again, we learned the hard way with that one. And I'm curious to see how they do continue to play him.
Well,
I mean, if I was the Suns, I'd be playing him.
Listen, they do it a lot, but I do think that, like, Chris Paul getting hurt a little bit in the last game helped out Booker because they brought him back in with about, I think it was like 8.5 minutes. He came back like 2 minutes quicker in the fourth quarter than he usually does, and he was very aggressive, and then the offense ran through him. Whether Paul plays or not, the Suns have to be giving the ball to Devin Booker. He's their most unstoppable guy. They have to have – if the offense runs through him, he could score in the mid-30s every game. There's no doubt about it. The problem is with betting them is he goes through these lulls where they don't give him the ball. He stands on the outside. You got guys like, Cameron Payne just shooting threes and even,
Frank Kaminsky.
That's what they have to avoid. That's key in order to bet Booker. And it's not that we don't like Booker. I love Booker. I'll always bet Booker. But
me too.
I got to see the rotation a little bit more. And I feel like tonight should be – you would think the Lakers will bounce back and win. And that's why we're going with,
I think Game 3 could be a big spot for Booker as well.
Listen, look, LeBron is like Game 1 for him normally is a feel out. The only reason why everybody's a little nervous is because he's been hurt, and they haven't really played together. But I fully expect them to come tonight and take it to him. If they don't, that's a serious problem. Because Chris Paul's not going to be 100%. The Lakers got to have a sense of urgency, just like the Clippers do. If the Clippers come out and lose tonight, they might get swept
Look, I know.
because I don't know what the hell they're doing. You're playing Luka Doncic. You got these great perimeter defenders. Man up on them, show some toughness, and win.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to know a lot tonight. Look, that's what we're putting our money on. We're putting our money on that they're going to do that. And the guy that's going to play the best is Kawhi. That's what we're going on. And, let's hope for the best, man.
I like Kawhi because, he's been there, done that. Paul George, in theory, should play good, except he's a panty waste. And, he's like, I don't know what's up with him. That's the problem with him. Listen, who on Dallas should be able to cover him? You would think that they would be running their help towards Kawhi Leonard. Paul George should have open shots. You got to make them, guy.
Yeah.
You make so much money. You're the second star of the team. Paul George should be getting 25, 30 against them in his sleep. And if he doesn't, that's it for them. They will be done. But I feel pretty confident that Kawhi Leonard's going to come do his thing. Same thing with AD. I hope AD. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little more nervous than you are. Not nervous enough not to bet him. Listen, I've lost money on a lot dumber shit than that.
But, yes, me too.
I'll take my chances with him. He's been good to us in the past. And,
it's the spot, man. It's a good spot. I'll bet this type of spot any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Take the Stars in must-win game twos where they got something to prove coming off bad games. You really can't go wrong. These guys are too good usually to have two stinkers like that in a row, especially in the playoffs with all the chips on the line. They're going to come out, and really look to assert themselves early. And that's
agreed. I expect a Warriors effort. Let's go, man. Let's get it tonight. Sounding off. Bigg Mike knows best.